financial maths. So let's have a look. The problem with financial maths is difficulty with vocabulary, because that's not what we kind of deal with every day. So we have to make sure we understand what we are reading. So let's have a look. In 2023, Joseph has a gross annual income. So that's the first thing for us to consider. What does that mean when they are saying gross annual income? Annual, that means yearly. Income meaning, well, what he is earning. But what about gross? So gross, that means that it is with tax or including tax. Basically, that gross indicate that there is tax in that value. So when you are looking at 48,000, that means that inside that 48,000, part of that 48,000, some part of it will be tax. And tax is something that the government takes. He pays net annual income tax of 7,650 annual PRSI and USC. Okay, so again, let's consider the type of taxes: income tax, PRSI, and USC. And again, they are giving us a net annual value, meaning a yearly value. So how does it work? So when you have that gross, from that gross, some part of taxes are taken. Part of that taxes is the income tax. Part of those taxes will be PRSI, and part of it is USC. He has no further deduction from his gross income. Work out net annual income. So again, net. So net, that means without tax or after tax. And again, here we can say before tax. Right? Okay. So how does it work? So when you have gross, from that you take away tax, you get net. Or the other way around. We have net value, we add tax to it, and therefore we have the gross value. The only difference here is that this tax will be three types: income tax plus PRSI and then plus USC. So three types of taxes added together, take away from gross. So let's work out the net income here. So from 48,000, we take away the income tax, 7,650, take away PRSI, 1,920, and again, take away 1,407 of USC. And when we put all of that in the calculator, press equal, we have our answer, 37,023 euro. And then the next part is saying hence, and that word hence means with the knowledge that we just acquired. So with that value being after his tax are collected, the net income. So with that, write his net annual income as percentage. So once you see that word percentage, and in your exam, you're always going to have one question or two questions that will say work out, calculate, find, or what is percentage. When you are seeing that word, you are thinking about fraction. So the question is what goes on top of the fraction, what goes at the bottom of the fraction. Because fraction, we then change that to a decimal, and then we change that to percentage. That's how it works. So what is this percentage about? Net income of his gross income. So net of his gross. So now that we know what is his net income, 37,023 over his gross income, 48,000. And again, we put that in our calculator, we press equal, and we get 0.77132125. So that is decimal, and then we change that decimal to percentage. How? Either we can multiply by 100, or that decimal place we can move two places. So it will be here. So therefore it will be 77.131255%. And then we look at the terms and conditions and give your answer correct to the nearest percent. So 1 is going to get cut off, therefore 77%.